Explains what it's like attending 3 sex parties in 5 hours in New York City. Too many. Too many sex parties. 3 within 5 hours? How do you even get there on the train? Let's see what they're saying.
But I've been invited to 3 sex parties tonight.
Good for you.
And I know you're thinking there's no way that I'm going to attend all 3, to which I say, think again. I am all about breaking records and being of service to my community. One's at 5 p.m. and I'm almost there. Then the next one has a hard cutoff at 7, and that's in Midtown, so I gotta get there. The third one's at 9:30, also in Midtown, so this is very manageable. I have snacks, I have breath mints, I have long socks so I can stick a bottle of lube in them at close check if I need to. I am ready and prepared to make history. Okay, I'm here, I gotta go. Party number 1, big success. Understand, I'm trying to be more realistic and set my expectations these days and quit while I'm ahead. Because I'll just be going at it with these guys and then I'll look up and be like, oh my God, I'm in love with 6 of you. And does that work out well for me in the end? Never, not once. I'm trying to fall in love with less people, right? And I thought that I was doing a great job and I was like, you know what, only in love with 4. I've had a great time to get out and go to the next one. And then the really hot one was like, hey, don't leave before I get your number. And I was like, anyway, I gave it to him. Hey, don't get your hopes up. You and me both. The night is still young, though. There's so many other people I can fall in love with.
Wait, what is that? What are they reading?
Freedom is a constant struggle.
So you know what's interesting? Here's what I find interesting. This person, who will be a senator probably, but this person's in a COVID mask and just described that they were at 5 or 3 sex parties and they were having sex with like 5 or 6 people, which I have no problem with consenting adults doing whatever they want. But then you're in a COVID mask. That's crazy. That's absurd. You want to go fuck 6 people, fine, but then you put on a COVID mask in the subway and read? That seems odd. That seems very strange. I know people that go to sex parties, but it's never like, I don't know. It's always like, it's never like the Illuminati sex parties. There's sex parties in Long Island. It's just like old swinger couples, in like trashy areas. It's like not, people that are fucking on like Pergo wood floors, the engineered wood. It's never like the Illuminati sex party, Epstein Island types. It's always like, people in their 40s or 50s, these kind of maybe even older, 60s, kind of these bored boomer couples swinging. Of these Long Island, because that's the real fun. Like, we all imagine it's eyes wide shut. That's what we imagine. But it's not always that. I know a lot of I've talked about it on the show before, these really pervy old Long Island couples that'll go to these swingers bars and just meet people, So good for this person. But does it keep going? Do they review all of the sex parties?
Yeah, here, I'll skip to the end, yeah.
After getting dicked down by half of New York, I'm here to tell you that we are very desirable and we are very hot to many people. And you can be trans and non-binary and still have a healthy, wonderful sex life and still be loved. As soon as I got to the hotel where the third one was scheduled, the group was deleted on the app in which it was organized. And I was like, what? I thought maybe I had been blocked. I thought maybe I was the problem, but I wasn't. Because then I was looking at this other guy who was very clearly there for the same reasons. He was like, did this just get canceled for you too? And I was like, yeah. Anyway, long story short, he was staying in the same hotel, so we just went back to his place. So was it 3? Technically, no. But was it an enjoyable evening had by all? And by all, I mean myself. Yes, I would consider this successful. And now I'm going home to shower and take my prep. I showered. I put on my bonnet. I'm going to take my little Doxy Peps right here. I'm going to take my prep and I'm going to sleep. I'll see you next time.
It's weird because to me it's like, it's a lot of mommy blogger energy for someone who's at all these sex parties. I mean, we're taking the cool out of everything here. It's like a mommy blogger energy with it. You're in a bonnet and you're taking prep. Don't do that. Be like, just fucking go to bed and see if you get AIDS. You know what I mean? Be cool. Be a cool person. There's something weird about the mechanization of this whole thing where it's like somebody who's like, a lot of people, it feels like they're more into the video than the sex parties. Everybody's just dying for everybody to know how good things are. A lot of people don't think that we are desirable, but we're very desirable and we're having sex all of the time. It's a little bit of a creepy energy. There's almost no value in our society anymore to secrets. You know? Like people used to keep secrets. They used to have lives that they didn't share with everybody. And I just don't get why you would think if you're like a trans person going around to fuck all these guest business guys that maybe you're in the closet or whatever, you'd have a little discretion. Have a little discretion. Here, can we say one thing about Harvey Weinstein? Positively? Can we say one positive thing about him now that his conviction is being overturned? He was kind of a man that was a fan of maybe more of a quiet behavior. And I think there's something about that that's kind of appealing. I don't know. There's just something, and this person has to know how this will turn people off. It turns people off. It just turns people off. It's like the guy that comes around and is like, I fucked all these bitches. People just go, hey, we don't care. We don't really want to be involved in your life like that. That's why you have close friends. That's why we've destroyed the distinction in our society between a close friend and like a follower or someone on the internet. You know what I mean? So you're talking to people on the internet randomly and telling them all these things when you should just tell one or two people or no one. Some things you should just die with. You know, like if you went to 3 sex parties in one night, you should die with that or tell like one or two people. That shouldn't be like a video. That person has the same energy as someone who's like, here's how I make my classic Caesar salad. I start with the anchovies. It's like, what? They have the same energy. So I went to the first party. And I got dicked down by 3 different guys. One of them seemed Arab. It was really fun because it was taboo. At the next party, I had a golden shower where a bunch of people pissed on my face, but I was really careful to not get any of they all have that cadence. I was really careful to not get any of the piss in my mouth because I don't really like salty things. The next party was anal only, which is basically we all wore thongs that only exposed our asses. There was no frontal play. It was ass play only. And I am a fucking get along, go along type. I'm a down ass bitch. So as soon as I went to the next party, I propped myself up on an old recliner and just people wailed on me the entire night. And now I'm back home and I'm watching the latest episode of Storage War. It's like the most boring people. And there's very like, ugh. You know, you're like, what about not telling people what you're doing? I'm not going to morally tell people what to do with their lives, but how about shutting up? I mean, you should just kind of keep it close to the vest, I think. That would be my recommendation. But this person's very proud and they want to win. They feel that by going out and telling all of these people how much sex they're having and how much sex you can have as a trans person, but we know that. Don't we know that? Don't people know that? I don't think the LGBT community suffers from that stereotype that they're not promiscuous enough. Is that the stereotype that gay people are suffering from? I don't think so. So I think it's weird when a lot of people think you're a pervert to go out and just say, hey, I'm a pervert. All of these things, I don't understand why people don't keep anything close to the vest anymore. I don't understand, you know? All these people with these fetishes, they're all out parading their fetishes all over the place. It's not fun if you're doing it in the mall. Like these people that want to be respected as like a furry or somebody who's wearing a diaper. Can't you keep it to yourself that you're wearing a diaper? Is there nothing? Yeah, this is another one. Lessons from a 20-person polycule. It's like there's 20 people all fucking each other, and they're all going like, how do we set boundaries? Shut up. Here's a boundary. Don't tell anyone what you're doing. Shut up. What do you need from people now? You need people to co-sign 20 of you fucking each other? What is this? What do you want from me? What do you want from anyone? Shut up. The word polycule is a synthesis of polyamory, engaging in multiple romantic relationships, and molecule. It's not clear when the word was coined, but it seems to have started catching. Yeah, it was coined when a guy who's fucking everybody, they're like, what's going on? He's like, well, they're like, you're destroying everyone's life. He's like, no, it's a polycule. It's a cult leader. It's a cult. But I guess, words like family and network are also used. Those are not what those are. That's absolutely not what that is. Families are not supposed to have sex with each other, and neither are networks. 20 people in a relationship seems unruly. It seems unruly. And if you're going to do that, if you're going to be in a cult, that's cool. Sex cults have existed forever. I don't understand why there has to be articles about this. Every week now there's an article about 20 people that have decided to have sex with each other, and how they're like, how are we setting boundaries? How are we respecting each other in this orgy? And you go, I have no idea. Why is this an article? Why are they writing about this? Why do we know about this? Why is it paragraph after paragraph about these people? Our polycule is female run. It's the female identified people who spearhead. We convene. We plan. We call the shots. It's a bunch of queer women who say we're not going to follow the rules. Okay, great. But we need to know. Why do we need to know about this? We don't care. Tons of people fuck people all the time. I don't know what this is. I love all these people. I have this abundance of love to give. Okay. Everyone is so deeply in love with each other. That's not true. That's completely not true. Whether or not it's romantic love. Okay. That's completely untrue. Why can't people just have an orgy? What are you talking about? You're not deeply in love with 20 people. Just have an orgy, and you don't have to, I don't want to read about it in the New York Times. Why am I reading about your orgy in the New York Times? There's 7 wars going on. 3 of them might go nuclear. What in God's name are they doing at the New York Times? Why am I reading about whose penis is going in whose mouth and whose ass at the New York Times? It's crazy. We are literally on the brink of World War III. Things are hotter than they've ever been. And the New York Times is writing about the boundaries that people are setting in an orgy. It's crazy. It makes no sense when you look at what's going on. If there was nothing going on in the world, and there never is nothing going on, but if there was a little less going on, if things weren't as hot as they are, okay, in Russia, Ukraine, the Middle East, Iran, Israel, China, the Taiwan Strait, if we weren't at this position, maybe you'd let them get away with it a little bit. But the fact that every single region I've just mentioned is on the brink of a severe problem, and the paper of record is writing about 20 people who've decided to have an orgy. And then the rules of the orgy. This is like a in-depth investigative report on the rules. There's a lot here. Go down a bit. There's a lot of boundary setting. Broken rules can be really damaging. Adhering to other people's boundaries is a big part of being in the polycule. That's paramount. In the polycule, it ranges from people who really don't have rules to we're only going to date people together, or we're going to participate in the group as friendships or as sensual friendships or going to be sexually intimate at gatherings, and outside of that, we're not going to date anyone individually. What are they even describing? I don't even understand what this is. So you can be in this and not fuck? Can you just be in it and want to talk about Israel? What is this? We also gather as a group for parties that are sometimes intentionally sexual, but sometimes not at all. You're just describing any configuration of people doing anything. Sometimes we fuck, and sometimes we don't, and sometimes we have parties, and sometimes we don't, and sometimes we go in the ocean, but sometimes we don't. I don't get it. Who cares? It's an evolving organism that looks entirely different from everyone's perspective. One person who's a part of the pod. You're not interesting. You're not interesting, and this doesn't matter. What you're doing is irrelevant. It's irrelevant. And it shouldn't be the focal point of an article in the paper of record. There has been forever, throughout history, people who want to have sex in groups with each other. There have been swingers. We do not need new terminology, and we certainly don't need a fucking full-page spread in the Times about people fucking.